Amigos de Infernal, bienvenidos otra vez a otro capítulo de Infernal Talks. El día de hoy estamos con ni más ni menos que el guitarrista de Tomahawk, Dwayne Dennison. Dwayne, how are you?
I was going to say muy bien, gracias, but very, very well, thank you, very well.
Do you speak Spanish or just a few words?
Muy poquito, muy poquito.
Okay. Well, your new album, Tonic Immobility, will be available in a week. How does it feel to be back after so many time with Tomahawk?
It's great, actually, Jorge. It's very exciting. I'm looking forward to having that finally happen. You know, we started working on this like 3 or 4 years ago, actually, and it just took forever for it to get finished. And now it is, and it seems like so far people seem to like it. So I'm looking forward to the public being able to have it.
It took, in fact, 8 years since your last release to release new material. What does it take them so long?
Well, you know, we all have other things. This Tomahawk is not the main band for any of us. You know, Mike Patton's doing Faith No More and Mr. Bungle. John Stanier, the drummer, plays in Battles. And I did stuff with the Jesus Lizard. Touring and things like that, and then working. And Trevor plays bass with, you know, John Zorn, Melvin's Mr. Bungle. So, you know, we were all doing other things, and then we would start working on it, and then something would come up, and we had to stop for a while. And then, of course, the pandemic shut things down. But you know, Mike was able, excuse me, to stay home and you know, record vocals and things at home during the pandemic last year. So that, in a way, that kind of helped us finish it, because he was forced to stay home and focus on one thing.
In fact, he has a lot of projects. Yes. A lot. What is working with a singer who can do basically anything you can ask to him? He can bark and he can make it sound good.
Right. Well, that's the thing. You have to, on the one hand, it's really good. I can write virtually anything, and he can come up with a melodic part, or like you say, he can bark and chatter and scream and do that kind of thing as well. You know, with someone like that, a lot of times it's just, you have to keep them focused, and you have to kind of keep pushing them along, and like, no, keep it, let's keep going, let's finish this, be consistent, keep it steady. So, but it's great, you know, I can write virtually anything and he can come up with something for it.
The name Tonic Immobility is a survival reflex. Basically, you get paralyzed when you have nothing left to do. Does this title refer to the current state of the planet?
It was at the time, and this was about a year ago, when it seemed, that's exactly what it seemed like, wasn't it? I think the actual term is almost like a biological or zoological term, like with animals, when animals are sort of there's too many stimuli and too many things going on, fight or flight kind of thing, and they don't do either. They just kind of freeze up. So it was definitely with that in mind. I think the state of the world, I think we're kind of coming out of that now, I hope, now that we've got some vaccines for everyone. And maybe that won't be the case.
This year, it's 20 years since your first release, since your debut. Do you have any plans to celebrate it alongside this album release?
We don't have any plans for, like, we don't have a big party. It would be nice if we could just go around the world to different cities and just host a party, and just everywhere we go have, you know, champagne and, you know, et cetera, but we won't. Just getting this album out, for me, just getting the new album out is celebration enough. I wish we could play some shows, but we can't really schedule anything right now, and everybody has other things that got canceled, and now those things are happening again. So we'll see.
With vaccines and all this stuff, do you think the music industry will be reactivated as much bands and promoters thinks at the end of the year?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think I keep hearing different things. I keep hearing that now some of the bigger festivals are being booked and that some stuff is happening. Um, I fear that a lot of the small and medium-sized venues, they had a hard time surviving, right? So they had a hard time staying in business and paying rent and being able to pay property tax or whatever, everything. Um, so we'll see. I hope it recovers. I think it's going to be different. I think that you're probably going to see some limited capacity situations. You know what I mean? Where they don't,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Where it's not going to be fully sold out until they're sure of the situation. But yeah, it's a strange world. We'll see. I hope it will turn around, but I don't know. I think it's going to be different.
For you as a band, financially could work a tour with social distancing?
I fear what they're going to have to do if you're in order for it, it takes money to tour, to travel. It takes money to go on tour, and people
Sure.
want to be paid. So with limited capacity, I mean that means they're going to probably have to raise the ticket price. Um, Unless, of course, maybe we'll just travel by covered wagon and play acoustic guitars and by candlelight and maybe just play in small towns like that, like the old days.
Or maybe you could try these streaming shows. Could you work for Tomahawk?
I don't know. I'm not a fan. When I watch them, it's just it's a strange situation. You see people pretending that there's an audience and pretending to be performing in front of people, and it's obviously they're doing the best they can. It looks just odd to me. It's almost like you're a TV show version of a band. You know, I don't know if that would work for us. Maybe it would. Um, it just seems unusual for me. I don't know. I, I at first I thought it was good, because everyone was just so hungry to see a live performance. But then when you actually watch them, it's kind of difficult for me. It doesn't seem quite right. I think there's something very primitive and elemental about going to somewhere, being in the crowd, being in an audience, and watching a performers. They make sound, and then you make sound, and then they make sound, and then you make a sound. That just seems like how it's always been, like going back thousands of years at night in a cave with a fire going, people at the end of the day putting on an animal pelt and dancing around the fire while clicking rocks together and singing. That just seems like this is a different version of that.
Well, returning to the album, songs like Doggy Dog or Scavengers and Predators, in my opinion, seems like a harsh criticism to the society. Do we live in a world where we all become predators, that no matters what happens to the others?
No, I don't. I mean, I hope not. Um, yeah, I hope not. I mean, it's these are things that don't have to be, like scavengers and predators. So sometimes when I first started thinking about that title, it's based on what I see just in when I outdoors at daytime or night. And where we live in Tennessee, there's still wildlife, but often I see what kind of wildlife? Coyotes, vultures, crows, like scavengers and predators. And then it made me think, are people becoming like that as well? Well, in some cases they are, but I would hope that the majority of us, the good people, don't become that way. And then dog eat dog, yeah, you could say that is, in a way, it could be social commentary upon the innate competition of, capitalism. But if you watch that video, the two men are beating each other up, and while there's dog tricks, and then eventually they overthrow their masters and they become friends and hang out. So I'd like to think there's some hope in there. And once again, the majority of people who are good and want everyone to be happy and have everything they need to survive, maybe they will be the ones who take over. Um, Fingers crossed.
Well, so in that case, we can have your music interpretation in the song, and then we can add another interpretation in the video. You work in a way that the people can have several interpretations of one same song.
Yes, and I think that that's what I like about music, and really music or art or literature or whatever. You can interpret it. People interpret it through their own filter. Everyone has their own way of looking at things and thinking about things. And to me, I don't really like music or things where they tell you exactly what you're supposed to be thinking. That's a bit much. I think I like to leave some room for people to interpret it their own way and let their yeah.
It's well known that Mike Patton is one of the most prolific musicians with a lot of projects, and you do have several projects, like of course Jesus Lizard, that is a legend in the noise rock, at least in the US. How is the work process in a band like Tomahawk, having you two inside and make comments and take decisions?
Well, right from the start with Tomahawk, it was mainly myself and Mike writing pretty much all the material. I would typically write pretty much all the music, and then he would do lyrics, vocal lines, keyboard stuff. I help out a little bit on the lyrics here and there. But from the start, it was mainly us two. And so, the other people can make input, like if we're, rehearsing and you're getting the arrangements together, and if someone has an observation or an idea, of course, they're encouraged, to share it, whether or not we listen to it or shoot it down or not, that's, remains to be seen. But so it's always kind of been like that. And it kind of, if anything, it makes it easy to get things done. Some people would say, well, isn't that kind of a dictatorship? And it's like, well, the other guys have other groups where they play, where they are the main contributors. So with this group, I think they're happy just to be a sideman and just happy to show up and play and do these, play the parts that are provided for them. So it kind of hasn't been difficult to really get these things done. And usually for me, if I make a home demo, by the time I actually make a home demo and send it to Mike, I've gone over it 100 times. I've gone over it, rewritten it, arrangements, rearranging it, re-recording it until I get it exactly where I think it should be. And then I send it off. And so by then, usually most of the work is done. They still might tweak it a little bit, but most of the decisions have been made at that point. So it's not that difficult, really. Well, it's not rocket science, it's rock science.
Of course. And speaking about Jesus Lizard, do you have plans to do something with these guys in the future?
We do, but we don't know exactly what that's going to be. I can't say exactly. I'm cautiously optimistic. We're all still friends. Even though we live in different cities, New York, Chicago, LA, Nashville, we stay in contact regularly. We all have the WhatsApp on our phone, and we contact each other regularly and send pictures. And so, something will happen again. So, maybe not right away, but we talk all the time.
That's nice. Well, yeah. Dwayne, thank you so much for your time. And hope when the situation allows it, could see Tomahawk here in Mexico, because I remember the last time you were announced here in Mexico was in 6 years or 7 years ago,
right?
For Cumbre Tajín with Tool and Primus. What happened?
I know. I wanted. There was a problem, and we had to cancel. And I really was looking forward to that playing here. My whole family, we were all going to go and take a vacation there too. And I was so disappointed. The only other time I've been to Mexico, I was in, like Cabo San Lucas, I think, on the Baja in 2017, and I love it. But yeah, I really wanted to play that show, and I was really looking forward to that. But I don't know. Do they do that every year there?
I think they should do, but I'm not pretty sure because that's a long story. The former governor
Habla bien, idiota. Habla bien o te mato.
governor steal the money from the state, so the festival have no money enough to to pay the fee to bigger bands. So they still do it, but with local bands.
I see. Okay. Oh well. Well, maybe in the future, maybe Vincente Fox will go down there and straighten things out for us.
We have another president now.
I know. I just bring him back.
Well, Dwayne, thank you so much. Hope to see you here pretty soon. And very well, your new album is pretty awesome. I already hear it. And
Thank you so much.
you can read my review in the website. In fact, I will send you.
Okay, please do. Yes, please do. Well, I appreciate it, Jorge. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Maybe, yeah, if we come down that way, please come say hello.
Yes. See you. Thank you.